We are live with Miss Courtney Lackey Wilson, and she is running for school board, place 7. And so we're going to have a short little conversation this morning, about 10 minutes or so, just to kind of do a little bit of an intro. So let's just jump right into it. Now, this is not your first time around. You've been on school board before.
Yeah, I'm a seasoned.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. I'm going to say seasoned instead of old.
So now, it refreshed my memory. How long were you on prior?
It worked out to 10 years, I think.
Okay. So that would be seasoned.
It was so much fun, I didn't keep count.
Okay. Just took a little bit of a break. And so we're back at it again.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll just start off with why?
One?
Yeah, why?
Well, the first time I ran and was, part of my driving force every time was the fact that I benefited from being a product of MISD and all that had to offer. What everyone before me did to set the pathway, and I saw what it could do, not just for myself, but my fellow classmates, which some of them, we're still crawling all around here. Mm-hmm. And then also my own children and nieces and nephews, we have all our immediate families here. And so of course, to make sure that the next generation keeps getting what we were able to get. And that's the big thing is the kids,
Okay. So what do you think has changed just from, and I mean, the world changes in a day so much, it's just crazy. But from the last time you were on to where you are now, what do you think some of the major challenges are going into this new season?
Well, yeah, it's really just been the last almost not quite a year, 9 months, I guess, whatever. And so a lot of those things were already occurring. The challenges we've had, we've had. And they are just, we're watching them escalate. And to the point now we're seeing what happens. And that's referring to everything that to me is a no-brainer. Teacher salaries, making, our teachers have always been underpaid in my opinion. We're trusting them with our most valuable assets. They are our boots on the ground and our leaders, true leaders for our society as a whole. And so, we're, like I said, we're entrusting them with our greatest assets. So everything has just gotten so hard for them. And we've got to take this to a support fight, as well, I'll say. Mm-hmm. And, we have to fight more, I think, for our teachers and our staff more than we ever have. And that's not just on our local administrative level, but I'm talking our legislature and our state levels and even beyond that, because they are so inundated with so much right now. And it's heartbreaking for someone like myself, because I know the people they are, and I know how much heart they had anyway to get into this industry, and the fact that that we've let it get this bad. I mean, it is truly gut-wrenching for myself, and then also for our students right now. Mental health is just so bad across the board, and it's showing up in behavioral, problems, I guess, is a way to put it. And but it's just all of it in general. There's so much more help that's needed, so much more support staff that's needed, better pay, less put on our teachers. I would like for our teachers, because I do know we have good staff. I'm not saying we have perfect staff, just like I wouldn't tell you I have perfect children. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, they can be entrusted with some autonomy. And it just seems like, we literally hand them a schedule like we would when you go to college. Here's your schedule, make sure you go to class, Mm-hmm. And I just want them to be able to know what their kids need next, or I know they know, but be able to do it, and that could be something as simple as some reading time, first grade, let's take a moment, everybody on the rug, let's read for a minute, you know, and
Do you think then that a lot of that stems more at the state level?
oh, absolutely.
Because you mentioned advocacy. Is that kind
That's
of what
what I
you're
mean,
saying?
and that's one reason why my want to return is, again, like I said, it's not just an administrative local level; it's a state level, and we've got to get back in the face of our legislature and pull for our teachers and our staff.
Yeah. I think sometimes people don't understand um, in anything where sometimes decisions really fall.
Mhm.
Who's responsible for what?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And when you pull your teachers and your staff, and give them the support they need, and like I said, a little bit of them being able to do their classroom like they need to without so much busy work, it does nothing but benefit our students and our
Yeah.
kids, you know.
Yeah. Anything specific that you feel like you want to add or say before we kind of sign off?
I just, you know, I'm real passionate right now. You might can tell about our teachers and our kids getting where they can be, and I just ask for everyone's support once again, and know that that's where I am. I'm at, and I always have been. I just want to support them and hear them, and I'd love to hear from more and more of them, because I think that the more people I can hear from, then the more things come to light that need to be helped and addressed.
Yeah. The other thing that you had mentioned too was on the mental health. Do you think, do you have some sort of an idea of what can be done to help solve that issue, or what the root of that issue is?
Yeah, you know, and again, I've been talking. Yeah, I like to go to the people doing it. You know, to teachers and principals and campus staff, and I know a couple things that have been mentioned to me is maybe if we had more behavioral specialists. You know, a lot of them have felt like the district's done a good job in with our social emotional learning and things, but it's still having enough because we do have, you know, a nice sized district, you know, and one behavioral specialist for this many kids can only do so much, you know, and just, you know, more and more letting them know that there's programs out there and there's help out there, just making the kids aware, you know, as well as staff. I mean, our staff really need it as well.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, I appreciate you taking time to visit and kind of do a little bit of an intro. We will be doing our candidate forum April the 7th here at the chamber. So we'll get into some more deep conversation then. But thank you very much and good luck.
Thank you, Lori. It's good to
Okay. Bye-bye.